Okay, Pranamda, good afternoon to you. Welcome to the business support session in the afternoon. We had two this morning, very, very interesting. I learned a lot, believe you me. Now, this session is called How to Plan and Optimize Your Website User Journey. And it's a presentation rather than a panel discussion with the WebBox Growth Director. WebBox is one of our website partners. And hopefully you'll hear more about the journey, what exactly is it, and why it's important. And there will be a chance for you to ask some questions later on, so please don't be shy. It is being recorded and it will be downloaded onto the higher platform, but it's not actually being live streamed. So please, any questions, don't be shy later on. So can we please welcome our next speaker, Mr. Sean Giles.
Thank you for that. I'll pop this down here. Thank you very much for coming. I wasn't expecting an intro. Oh, I'll do this. So just to give you a quick intro to myself. So I'm Sean from WebBox, as just mentioned. I've been working in the web industry for 15 years, started out as a web developer myself, and worked through various different roles to end up where I am now as growth director at WebBox. WebBox, just very quickly, we're a digital agency and we specialise in bespoke web development and paid ads. And obviously user journey comes into a big factor of that, and making sure that your users are happy with your online presence. So let's get started. So just a quick overview of some of the content we're going to cover today and what we're going to have a look at through the user journey, which should hopefully help you with your website and your users. So we're going to look at what the user journey is. It's a very important one. We're going to look at what a user journey map is, why the user journey map is important and what you can get from that. How you actually plan out that user journey, obviously a really important step. How you then optimize that and continue to improve it, and then some top tips that you can take away if you're going to implement this yourself, and how you can go about it. So start off, what is the user journey? So at WebBox, we like to differentiate this between customer journey and user journey, and sometimes these terms are used interchangeably. So I think it's quite important just to know which one is which. So customer journey. When we talk about customer journey, we're talking about the complete buy-in cycle from when a customer or a person realizes that they have a need or an issue that they need to solve, all the way through to then finding companies or businesses, organizations that can solve that problem for them, whether it's buying a product or a solution or a service, and then through to that purchase and beyond that. So we're using the IDA funnel here, which if you're into marketing, you may have come across before, which is that awareness of the issue and the business all the way through to that action, and like I say, and beyond that. Whereas the user journey and what we're looking at today is very specifically the sort of experience that someone has with your business, specifically on their website. So we're looking at that. So it begins at the discovery of that website, the entry point that they come in and experience your business, all the way through to the purchase or of a service or product. Or it could be any kind of interaction, so whether that's downloading a white paper or getting in touch with you, sending an inquiry, whatever that might be. So this is that specific user journey interacting with your business. So just important to differentiate between those two. Now, if you get to know me, you know I love analogies, and especially in terms of things with marketing as well. So I've got a few analogies throughout. So now we're going to have a look at an analogy. So your website for your business or organization can often be referred to as your online shop window. And much like physical shops in the real world, there's similarities between these two things that you really want to take into account that will affect the user journey. And this happens through the physical world as well as in the digital world. So as we've got shopfront here, typically, this would be like loading up your homepage, loading up your website. With a shopfront, you want to make sure it's clear what you sell. So in the shop windows, they're going to show the product, talk about their service, show a big banner that has their name on it, what they do, and you want the same thing on your website. So it should be super duper clear as soon as someone loads that website, what you do through the use of imagery, headings, all these kind of things to make sure that it's clear what you do and how the user can interact with you. When you then go into shops, you obviously have signage, so whether it's telling you where the toilets are, where the men's clothing is, where the women's clothing is, where the lifts are, the different departments, and it's the same thing again on a website. So you're going to have navigation, you're going to have call to actions, you're going to have all these things that users are going to interact with throughout their user journey to find different information and ultimately interact with you as a business. Shops and retail have employees and staff, so if somebody is going around the shop, they can't find necessarily what they need, you can ask questions, you can find out more about that business or organization. And this is the same thing again on a website. It could be a contact form, it could be as simple as an FAQ section on your website, or it could be something like a chat bot or an AI bot, something where people can, again, interact. If they can't find that information they're looking for, they can find out more about it and interact with people in your business or organization. And then finally, what we'll call the conversion element. So in a physical world, this would be like the cash desk or the tills, whereas on a website, this could be anything that kind of ends that user journey. So whether that's a contact form, purchase of a product, inquiry about a service, anything along those lines where that kind of user journey has come to an end and the person has completed that journey. Now, the reason I've used this analogy is because, you know, a lot of you will obviously go to shops, go into retail in the physical world, and those shops aren't just thrown together in terms of they're putting their product in a physical building and then happy days, let people come and look at it. They're planning out how people interact with their business and with their products as the customers come in. Things like in supermarkets, you know, you see the fresh vegetables first. You'll get that in lots of supermarkets and things that you go into, and you know, the things like toilet rolls and stuff are at the back. It's not, you don't get presented with that stuff as soon as you go in. So they think about this and they constantly update it and evolve it, and as this is the same as you should do on your website. You should look at these user journeys, look at what people are interacting with, and continually update them, which is what we're looking at today. So just a few examples of user journeys as well. So I'd just like to showcase these because it's not necessarily just someone coming in on the home page and then exiting, you know, once they've made a purchase or a contact page. There can be lots of different user journeys that you need to consider on your website as well. So the top one is simply someone lands on your home page. They might find you through Google or through a link from an ad. They check out service page. They're interested in things that you offer. Then they go to the about page. They want to find about more about you as a business and see the kind of things that you offer or how you operate. And then finally go through the contact page to hopefully inquire and get in touch with you. It could be that someone has a kind of a problem or something, they're asking a question into Google. So this second example is you may have answered a question or talk about something that you offer as a business in a blog, and that person is directed through Google to that blog post. So they've missed the homepage, they enter directly through the blog page. You answer a question for them, provide some value, and then they'll go to the about page and then to the contact page to finish that journey. And then the last one is a landing page. So we're big proponents at WebBox of landing pages. We always shout about how good they are, and they're vital for any website to have. And this is a page where essentially if you're advertising anything from, you know, a service, a product, it could be a white paper, an event you're running, a webinar, anything that you basically want to drive people towards, create landing pages for these assets. And you can create really kind of hyper-specific content for that and a kind of unique experience on that landing page as well. So again, this could be somebody is either you've sent out a marketing email or they found you through Google, and then they come see that landing page. And typically on a landing page, you'll have a contact form, so they will that user will hopefully sign up and give you their information. So then, what is the user journey map? So the user journey map itself, we know what the user journey is. The user journey map is where we track the interactions through these journeys to see how people are actually interacting with, whether it's different pages on the website, whether it's call to actions, whether it's things like accordions, FAQs, anything that you've got on the website through those user journeys. You want to track all those different kind of touch points. The map itself is a visual representation of this journey. So we'll look at an example of one later, but you will essentially, the best way to do this is to create lots of multiple different user journey maps, and you can again see how people are kind of interacting with those different elements and where you can make improvements. And the user journey map will benefit all your different teams. So obviously from your kind of website team, your marketing team, it's looking at any pain points or anywhere that you can make processes faster and easier for your users. But also people like your sales team, they can benefit because it may show like certain elements that people are interested in or value more in your products or services. So when they're selling or creating content around that, they can highlight those elements as well. So why is the user journey map important? So it's important because it allows you to understand the kind of complex behaviors and experiences that your users are having on your website. We will quite often come across, like whether it's prospects or current clients, that maybe design their website or design the kind of journey of their website for what they think their user wants. That can be a good start, but it's more like putting yourself in that user's shoes and understanding how they're actually interacting with things, so that you, again, understand that behavior and you can improve it. It's empathizing with your customers, so again, understanding that behavior, understanding if there are pain points, how you can iron those out and make that experience as good as possible for them. And about continuous improvement. So like a website, like any marketing tool, it's not something you just kind of plonk up there and leave and hope that the inquiries and the leads come in. It's something that you should continually improve and look at, adjust, and improve over time. So analogy time, we've got another analogy. So how many of you guys have ever run kind of Google ads, paid ads in the past? Anybody? I see a hand going up, a couple of hands. Yeah, cool. So I would imagine if you guys have or haven't, did you put those like ads live and then just leave them and never ever look at them again, or is it something that you kind of continually improve? Yeah. So it's the sort of thing, like I say, any kind of marketing, especially with kind of paid ads. The whole purpose of these, and to make sure you're getting the most out of them, is to look at data, look at how people are interacting with these things, and are you targeting the right areas? Are you sending the right messages out there? And then you can make these continuous improvements, make these little tweaks, so that the performance continually improves and it doesn't just fade off to nothing. The other importance I put here 3 times is action. So you can create these user journey maps. They could be the best user journey maps anyone's ever seen, but unless you take action off the back of it, then it's kind of a wasted experience. So make sure that anything that you identify as an issue or as somewhere that you can improve, you want to take those actions, whether they're kind of little wins or complete redesigns of areas and take longer periods of time. You want to make sure that you're actioning this, retesting and continuing that process as much as you can. So how do we actually plan the user journey? So there's 4 steps to this, and I'll run through them, each one in their own detail. So step number 1 is to build a detailed picture of your customers. So you can do this through customer personas. Some people have ideal customer profiles, and it can be, as detailed or as kind of undetailed as you want, really. Some people will, go down to the complete level of like creating a picture of this person. There has, their likes, their dislikes, all these kind of things, and you can create multiple different personas to people that are going to interact with your business, who you're targeting. You want to define their aims. So again, it's really important on your website to make sure that you know what people are looking for. So you got to think about the user journey in terms of where you kind of want to send those people, but also, what is their aim? What are they trying to get? Is it information? Is it a product they're trying to purchase? What is it that they actually want to get out of the website? And not all users are the same. So everybody's going to have a slightly different aim. Everyone's going to have a slightly different goal. So it's really important to make sure you encompass all those people in it and not just do one user journey map. I think everybody's going to be covered under that umbrella. Step number 2 is defining the end goal. So what do you want to achieve from this? So when you set out to do this task of creating user journey maps and looking at your user journeys, what's the goal for you? What do you actually want to achieve from that? Are there long-term goals, short-term goals? What challenges are you going to experience throughout this process? So it could be, from a team perspective internally, resource might be quite tight. It might be quite hard to come up with these ideal client profiles. It could be hard to gather the data initially, so you need to look at how you can put things in place to do that. So really consider those things up front. And then ultimately, what's your end goal as well? So after you've done this, is it to improve customer experience scores? Is it to shorten the process needed to purchase a product? Whatever that might be, pin that down and talk about what your end goal is. And another analogy time. So joke, there's a picture of me from the gym. It's not. So if anybody's ever set out to do anything like go to the gym or do a marathon or a half marathon, or even doing an exam or a test or anything, if you don't set yourself a goal, it's much easier to fail at that thing. So you might just want to start going for a run, but one morning you feel a bit tired, can't be bothered, so I'll just stay in bed. Whereas if I'm doing a half marathon in 2 months' time, you're going to get out of bed and you're going to do that run because you need to be fit and make sure you're ready for it. So setting those goals is just really important up front to make sure that you kind of follow through on this process and keep ploughing on throughout. So step number 3 is identifying the touch points. So you research the touch points is what we talked about, kind of that goes into the user journey map. So what are these different areas that people are interacting with on the site? So like I say, talking about things like contact forms, FAQ accordions, call to actions, anything that has that kind of interactive element and touch points, then map those out. This will help you understand as well the motives of your users, so you can see the elements that people are using and interacting with, and it should shine a light on the kind of information they want to get or what their ultimate goal is. And this is where the data gathering tools come into it as well. So things like Google Analytics, we've just had GA4 recently, last few months, kind of come into play. Lots of people have moved across to that, migrated across to that. But other great tools for this are things like Hotjar and Mouseflow, if you've not come across these. And what they do, where you've got Google Analytics, which might show how many people have converted on this form or spent time on this page, what Hotjar will do is it records user sessions. So you can go down to the level of watching a single user session. You can see their mouse moving around the page, what they're clicking on, the pages they go through. But also, as more and more people use the site and it gathers more data, it will build up heat maps. So you can see that over the last 2 months, we've had however many users, and a lot of them are hovering over this section, but they're missing a call to action over here. And it just allows you to make data-driven decisions in terms of, should we change the wording on this call to action? Should we move it to the left? Should we change the design of it? Whatever that needs to be. It's going the wrong way or something. And it just helps you make those data-driven decisions rather than just using a hunch and thinking, oh, let's move that or change the color. So yeah, some tools there to have a look at. And step number 4 then is to sketch the user journey out. So using all that information, knowing who your customer profile is, knowing all those touch points and using that data you've gathered, you want to put map these out. So there's no necessarily right or wrong way to do this process. Templates are a good way to do it. So we have a template that we can share. So if you're interested in getting that, please come and give me your details and we can send that across to you. And it can simply be a kind of table that you fill out and put the different elements in and the different parts of the user journey in. And we've got another example, which is more of a line graph as well. So you can draw it in kind of different ways and start to sketch out that journey. So now we'll move on to the user journey map example. So using those 4 steps, this is something, an example that we've made up that you could do. So I'll read it off this screen. So excuse me for looking over here all the time. But so step 1 is our user persona. So again, we've just made this up, so it's not for real case studies. But the persona is Jane is a busy professional in her early 30s, juggling work and home life. She's shopping online for some new clothes in between other tasks, and Jane wants to quickly and easily find what she is looking for and make a purchase. So like I say, with the persona, you can go as detailed or as undetailed as you want. So it might be that the persona is more kind of like, sex, age, location, demographic, or you can go into this full kind of, really paint a picture and create a person for that persona. The context here is Jane is in a hurry. She's trying to shop during a busy schedule and she needs to get the job done quickly and efficiently. And the method that she's using is she's browsing the site on her phone. So this is all the information that we need to have a look at that user journey to plot that out. Define our goals. So we want to ensure the user can easily complete a purchase. We want to understand if there's any blockers in the process. So like, how do we make sure the process is quick and efficient? And we want to ultimately increase conversion. So by doing this process, we want to make sure that our sales go up. And there's quite a few on this, but I'll go through these and it should all make sense as well. So we're identifying then the touch points that Jane will go through when she's making a purchase on the website. So point number 1, Jane loads the website in a mobile browser window, and what we've done with these as well is attribute an emotion to it. So we at this point are kind of assuming, and we're making an assumption on how somebody would feel during this process. But as I get into later on, as you do more user testing, you can actually get honest feedback on these as well. So we're saying for that first step, the emotion's neutral. She's loaded the website. There's no strong feelings either way. It looks different than on a laptop. So Jane looks for the women's clothing section and can't find it, so she feels a bit confused. She then clicks on the menu. The women's clothing link's there, and so she feels less confused and a little frustrated. She uses the product and price filters to find the clothes that she needs. The page quickly reloads to show the correct range, so she feels happy. She sees a product she likes, clicks on it. The key product information is all presented on the page, so she feels happy and excited. She's getting what she needs from the website. She looks at the product and she looks to add the product, to a basket, and she can't find the link. So frustrated. I'm sure a lot of you have come across things like this on websites before. And she selects the size and color, and then an add to basket link appears. So she clicks the link, adds it to the basket, so she feels relieved. And then she goes to the checkout, enters her details, and makes the purchase. So she feels satisfied at the end. Now, again, this is just an example. So for that last step, you could obviously split that down even further steps, because the checkout process is typically something that people might find a bit of a battle where they got to put more information in. So you can again put as much detail or as little detail into these things as you want. And it may be that you start with this, and as you find there may be like very little issues throughout the process, so then you concentrate on one sector of it as well, like the checkout process. And then we sketch this journey out. So like I say, you could do this in a table format. In this example, we've done it in more of a line graph, and I can kind of point and talk at the same time. But where we plotted these out, so we've got the Jane initially loading the site on her mobile, so she's in a neutral experience. The site looks slightly different to desktop, and she couldn't find the women's section, so the experience dropped off a little bit. Then when she got through to the product page and filtered it, that's when the experience came positive, it rose up. Then when she couldn't add to basket, it dropped right off, she got really frustrated. And then by the end, it ultimately ended happy because she managed to make that purchase. Now, if we plot that out and we're using real data, we can see that clearly the issue in this user journey is not having that button to add to basket. So you can very clearly see we need to address that. It might be that the button shows faded out and tells the user please select size and color, and then you can add it to basket. And that overall will improve the experience for the user. Obviously, at the front end as well, there's things like making sure they can get to that section they want more easily. And there's these sort of things that you want to pick up on and improve through that user journey. So then how do we optimize the user journey? So we know how to create one. How do we then optimize it? So you lead the way. This is where the user journey that you've created comes from hypothetical into practical. So you can start trying it yourself. So in that example, it may be that you put yourself into the mindset of Jane. You might set yourself a 90-second limit to get to the homepage on your website and get through and make a purchase, because you're trying to do it under pressure, something quickly, and just see how that experience unfolds. Do you hit issues yourself, and what is it that you can fix? And again, make sure you're using kind of every persona that you create here. So it's not just thinking about one user that might have a certain user journey. It's thinking about all those different user journeys and all the different types of people that would use your website, because some people might just want to browse and add things to a basket for another time. So it's about considering all those things. Analyze the results. So review all of those results that you're creating. Go through that process yourself. And see, where were the kind of the pain points, where were the issues, how easy is it to complete that user journey? Again, does it reflect what you thought in terms of that kind of end stage of you couldn't add it to the basket, or is it not as bad as you first thought? And then how can you perfect it? So where are those pain points? What do you actually need to do in order to improve it? You obviously map that out and see what will ultimately improve the user journey for your website. And then it's about iteration and perfection. So like we said with the Google ads or the paid ads, it's about learning off of data, learning off of testing, and continually improving that process over time. So doing this, you're gonna identify areas that need alteration. So some of those will be really small quick wins. It might be that you just need to add an add to basket link, as in our example, or they might be bigger elements where you need to kind of redesign a whole checkout process. But it's identifying those areas so that you know how you can ultimately improve it over time. Testing is obviously key here. So every time that you make an adjustment to the user journey, or you improve at any of those steps of the user journey, you want to keep on testing it, so that you want to, obviously testing will give you that result as to whether you've actually improved it or not. And it will also highlight any other issues. If you maybe improve one sector, it might also cause an issue somewhere else. So you need to make sure you keep testing that. Introduce user testing. So a lot of what we've talked about so far might all be kind of internal testing. One good thing you can do is obviously get your kind of wider team within the organization to do these tests as well, because often some people, whether you're in marketing or not, you can be very close to the process, the user journey itself, so getting other people to look at these. But if you can get external testers as well, whether they be people who are completely unaware of your organizational business, or they are your target audience, and you can send out surveys and ask them to do this, is again just a great way of getting reliable feedback from third parties, so it's not kind of biased when you're getting that back. And you'll benefit from all changes. So like I say, it could be small quick wins or big changes, but everything that you can do to update and improve this process, your organization ultimately is going to benefit from improving that user journey. And then finally, just a couple of top tips. So as I said, the kind of, when you approach this at the start, the user personas and the kind of steps that you would take through the user journey can get extremely detailed. So it's a good idea to begin top level. So map out, who those key personas are, who your target audience is, and then think about those key user journeys that people are taking through your website, and then you can always go into more detail through that process as needed. Avoid any pre-existing biases. So as I mentioned before as well, lots of people will kind of design things for what either they think it should be or what they think their users should use. So having a look at things like data, like I mentioned Hotjar earlier, using that kind of data, and also using those third-party testers or even your wider team to do these tests, because they haven't got that pre-existing bias. They'll give you more honest feedback. And experience and communication as well is a massive thing. So a lot of the user journey bits that we look at, it will be experience based. So it's, is that call to action effective? How does the design work? Does the content flow well? All these kind of things based on the experience, but communication is a huge factor as well. So in the example, in terms of Jane couldn't add the item to her basket, if there was some more information and communication around that, then it would be easier for her to understand how the website and how the interface works. A big one of communication for me, always frustrates me on websites, is contact forms especially. So making sure you communicate effectively how you should either submit a contact form, or if there is an error when somebody submits a contact form, how you should fix that error. Because I might be going into a personal thing here, but the amount of forms I've used online where it just doesn't really make sense when you get an error back and you don't know how to submit it, it'll just put you off, and you'll go somewhere else and look for another organization to do what you need. So communication is a massive thing. So really think about that when you're looking at user journeys as well, in terms of experience and communication. So just to summarize what we talked about, so the process, you want to create those user personas, research the touch points for the different user journeys, how people are interacting with your business and organization. Sketch these into a user journey map so you get an idea of how the user journey is flowing, where the pain points are, and what you can improve. Try out those user journeys yourself to make sure that they are realistic, and where you can identify those touch points. Analyze the results, implement any improvements to the website, obviously over time, and then update that user journey, rinse and repeat. So it's that continual improvement as well, and making sure that it's always being updated. I'll skip past that. We do offer a free website audit. If anyone's interested, come find us at our stand. And yeah, I'll throw it over to you guys. Anyone got any questions they would like to ask?
Thank you for a great presentation. I've seen some of your analogies before, and they're always good.
Thank you.
The one thing that I think you've missed, interested in your thoughts, customers expect a safe digital journey as well. So you've talked about all the positive things about getting access to the service and seeing the shop window and finding the products on the shelf. But you've talked nothing about making sure that digital journey is a safe digital journey right from the outset. We're working with organizations where we're working with the marketing teams to add in the cyber and the data protection piece right at source. Interesting, your thoughts?
I guess, do you mean in terms of kind of like, oh, sorry, I was going to have a conversation with you there. Do you mean in terms of kind of like cybersecurity for like purchase process or like? It's a really good point, actually. It's not something that I've really thought about for this presentation in terms of the user journey itself, but I think it's an important point. I guess, I mean, you know, the key one in terms of data security at the minute, obviously GDPR being, you know, it probably had its the most news coverage a couple of years ago, but it's still very, very important. I think, I suppose that goes into the more detail of specific user journeys, but I guess one thing that we do from a WebBox perspective is make sure that users can't access the website until they've either accepted or rejected that GDPR, you know, cookies element at the start. So, you know, everybody's had it for the last few years where you go onto a website and it pops up in the corner and you just kind of ignore it and carry on with your user journey. One thing we do is block that page. So you're essentially, you know, it's a shadow on the background. You've got the element on the front, so they have to click that to go through. So, yeah. I mean, yeah. I guess, well, being honest, cybersecurity is probably not my area of expertise, but I think it's down to, I suppose, the development and the implementation of the website, you know, how that works. But I suppose I'd love, yeah. Obviously you seem to know more about
I think you've got a challenge. The customer delivering the digital service to their clients has the responsibility for it to be data safe and cyber safe. You guys are commissioned often, and your colleagues in the industry, to create that journey and make sure the website infrastructure is put in place to be able to do that, which is great. What I'm beginning to learn is that someone in the client who understands data and their data risk, and the external web development company like yours, need to talk much earlier in the whole process about, it's a great digital journey, they get there in 3 steps, but actually now all their data could be at risk because it didn't go through the authentication process. It now is on a server that's not very secure. There's a whole load of things that the client should understand. If they don't, they should get data protection or cyber specialists in to work alongside perhaps you.
Yeah.
So I think the market's beginning to mature, and I think part of that maturity is better collaboration.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. And I think it's definitely a case-by-case basis, because not all websites will have, well, I suppose a contact form. You are passing over data, not that it's necessarily super sensitive data all the time, but obviously if it's from a purchase perspective, you're putting in you know, bank details, whatever it might be, card details. So this is very important that it's securely stored. One interesting thing I came across recently actually was someone talking about, I think it was, again, GDPR related, but saying that lots of businesses and organizations use you know, servers and server systems set up that are based in America, and they are storing data, again, through a UK business website, and it's then firing it across to America, which actually is against the GDPR rule, and it has to be stored within the EU. So, yeah, you're definitely right. There's all these kind of things that people should be more aware of, and whenever we are dealing with data internally within a project of WebBox, then it's something that we will have a look at in terms of kind of, you know, I suppose, security, depending on where that data is going, in terms of the length of time that you can keep that data. You know, there's different levels of security needed for different organizations as well. But yeah.
Good, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you for the question.
Hiya, thank you, interesting.
Thank you.
You were saying about landing pages. If I offer a service in Cardiff, Bristol and Birmingham, and should I create 3 different landing pages which have got the same text, but say we offer this in Cardiff, we offer this in Birmingham? Or does that negatively affect by being a repeat of each page? And supplementary, should there be landing pages inside my website or on domains that are sort of, plumber Cardiff or plumber Birmingham or dentist Birmingham?
So you could definitely do the 3 different versions. I suppose, is there a big difference in terms of, maybe there is, that's why you're asking the question, but in terms of the locale. So if I go from Birmingham, I suppose Cardiff, Birmingham's quite a distance. But you could do it so that you could have a general one and then the 3 variations as well. Because, like I say, the key with a landing page, or what you can do, is make that content hyper relevant for that location. So where you're using keywords around Birmingham or Cardiff, if someone is looking for your service in Birmingham or Cardiff, then it's more likely to pull up that landing page than if it was more generic, for different areas. So you could, even from like the Cardiff area, you might then put in different more local areas, whether it's Whitchurch or Heath or whatever it might be. So you can definitely tailor that content to be even more hyper relevant. And also, if you're running paid ads anywhere, obviously then you can be very targeted with those. So you might do specific Cardiff ads, but then send them to that Cardiff landing page, which again, you want, when you're doing things like that, you want to make sure the ad copy matches the page they're landing on. So again, it's going to make that connection even better as well. So your ad score should go up.
So there's no negativity in basically one template replicated on 3 with just the location change.
Yeah, the only thing I'd be careful of would be whether it sees it as duplicate copy. So as long as there's kind of enough variation in the copy as you're targeting the different areas, you should be okay. But I think it can work negatively if it looks like it's exactly the same thing multiple times. Does that make sense?
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, cool. All right. Anybody else? Cool. If anyone does think of anything, we've got a stand over the other side, so feel free to come and speak to us about it. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so our next session now, if you're into esports as events or as a lucrative, please come and join us. The next session will be at 2 o'clock. Is that right? Yeah, 2 o'clock. It's all about esports. Thank you.